a lot of talk about the FTC and Xbox, right? And if they're going to block the deal, I mean, it's a bigger deal. It's about what, 65 million more dollars, or 64 million more dollars, or billion more dollars. I forget how much Bungie is with it. 3-4 billion, 3.6. Yeah. Okay. So it looks like the Activision Blizzard deal isn't the only thing being investigated by the FTC. They say here, and this is Push Square, as we know, is very it's a PlayStation website, right? As is typically the case for billion-dollar acquisitions, Sony's mammoth $3.6 billion buyout of Bungie will be investigated by the Federal Trade Commission. While you could be forgiven for forgetting that PlayStation had dug deep to purchase the Destiny developer, this is a reminder the deal is still very much on, assuming it gets government approval. If you've been following the news lately, you'll know similar probes have been occurring with Microsoft's purchase of Activision Blizzard. So, I mean, I could be missing stuff here, but we obviously haven't seen any like lawsuits with Bungie. I mean, Bungie didn't seem like it was a very bad run company. Not any real scandals that came out of it, such as with Activision Blizzard, which makes it very easy for lawsuits against Bobby Kotick and Activision Blizzard. With everything that happened, they're going through multiple lawsuits. None of that is really happening with Bungie, but obviously the FTC is going to be looking at this. It's a $3.6 billion purchase. And yeah, it's huge. All right, Faith, thanks for stopping by. Have a good night. It's a huge purchase, and just like the Activision Blizzard, they're going to see if there's any sort of monopolistic thing with this, or if it's anti-competitive and all that stuff, which it's not. It's going to go through. This isn't anything to be worried about if you're a Sony fan looking for if this deal is going to get stopped or not. This is a big move for Sony, as I've talked about multiple times. Like they got one IP, $3.6 billion for one IP. You could look at that and be like, that's kind of a hefty price to pay for Destiny, but Destiny makes a ton of money. They have a huge player base, concurrent player base that just keeps going, and it's games as a service. We know Sony is trying to get more into games as a service, and this is a big move for them, which is why when I talked about the Square Enix stuff, and my opinion is Sony going to buy them? Who knows? I mean, I don't think insiders actually know. They just kind of throw stuff at a wall and hope that it sticks, because we've never heard any insider let us know about any of the other big acquisitions. But let's say hypothetically they do end up buying them. The biggest thing maybe for Sony that they could be looking at with that, Final Fantasy is obviously huge, but the MMO, Final Fantasy 14, games as a service, like that would be massive for them, for where they're going. And if you're not an MMO or a Final Fantasy 14 fan, you don't even need to care about that. But this Bungie deal for Sony was good. FTC is going to be looking at, just like they're going to be looking at the Microsoft purchase. I don't think this means anything bad. I don't think this means that the deal isn't going to go through, just like with the Microsoft purchase. Or the Activision Blizzard purchase. I don't think that there's anything to worry about with that. And I mean, they say here, still the information reports that the investigation could set the acquisition back at least 6 months. That's the other thing, right? So they're doing an investigation into it, and this could set back this going through for 6 months. Now, with this acquisition, another reason why I don't think there will ever be anything to worry about is that Bungie literally came out once this got announced, said everything's staying multi-platform. Probably was one of the big stipulations within the deal for them to accept it was, we'll sell it to you, but we got to keep our games multi-platform, because they have players everywhere. It would be very detrimental for Destiny to not stay multi-platform with the type of game it is. Continues on here to say, although a closing time frame has never been officially announced by Sony anyway, with Bungie set to operate independently once the deal closes, it's unlikely to change much, really. And that's the other thing. Yes, Sony's buying Bungie, but I don't think as a gamer you're going to experience any difference. If you're a Destiny fan, I don't think you're going to get any different experience from it. I think it's literally just going to be the exact same way under Sony. They make all of that sweet games as a service money, and that's why they want to do this deal more so than anything. They see the money. They see the money in games as a service. They see the money in Game Pass. They see the money in Xbox Cloud Gaming. And they also see the money of being able to push their first party games for $10 more and make their fans believe that their games are worth $70 instead of $60. And they're trying to get money from all of these avenues. Unfortunately for Xbox, because of their history, I guess. I mean, I love Halo. I love Gears. Forza's great. They have a bunch more studios now. Like Starfield's going to be incredible. I can't wait to see what they do with Avowed. All of the Activision Blizzard games that are going to be coming over, like Call of Duty, you probably could sell for $10 more. People will still buy it. In fact, they did, right? For the cross-gen versions of the games. But my point being here is that PlayStation for years has released highly acclaimed, really well reviewed. That's the main thing. Very highly reviewed games. And they've been, because of that, for generations, because of that, they're able to sell their games for $10 more and make their fans believe that spending $70 on a PlayStation game makes that $70 more valuable because it's a PlayStation game. So they're going to be getting money from all of those avenues. And that's why they made this deal. The games as a service is where they need to go. They don't have very many multiplayer games. And yeah, this is, for them, I think was a smart purchase. And I don't think the FTC reviewing it, even if it pushes it back 6 months, is going to stop this deal whatsoever. But I think the main point of this is to show you that, hey, billions of dollars are being spent, whether it's Xbox or whether it's Sony. The FTC is going to review it. I'm not, I'm not that well versed on the FTC, like all of the stuff that they've done. But I'm not American as well, so from what I understand, though, is that they kind of just act tough, and they don't. And people are predicting that maybe they're going to stop one of these deals to show that they're serious and they mean business, right? I don't think so. I really don't think so whatsoever. All right. What do you guys think about this, though? What do you guys think about this? You know, as a one-man show, it's hard to remember where I was in the comments here. I was a second-generation PlayStation fanboy, but I joined a band and did a lot of drugs and forgot about video games. Well, okay. I mean, I guess you're back into video games right now, and I hope you're off drugs. Get good. I hope everything's good. I didn't expect to read that, so I hope everything's working out for you. And video games can be a great, like, saver. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the word here. Video games can be great for people who are struggling with addiction or anything like that. It's a great outlet for sure. Not saying you were. I was just read that comment. Anyways, last year they arrested a Bitcoin hacker who had 9,370 PS4s that he used as servers. Oh, I remember the PlayStation 4s being used as servers. Yeah. Again, not surprised about that. PlayStation executives are so stuck up they don't even interact with fans. I mean, Jim Ryan just seems like he doesn't play games at all. He seems kind of out of touch. But, you know, here's the thing. I've made videos about Jim Ryan and talking about some of the stuff, and I do recognize that the guy knows how to make money. Like, that's all he's trying to do, right? We sit here and we wonder why these executives make the decisions they make. And we go on social media and we look at all of this outrage. We look at everybody jumping on the outrage or whatever. We also forget that like only like 2% of the population or something like that, that could be wrong. I don't know if it's like that, but I heard that stat once, are on like Twitter. And yeah, Twitter influences a lot of people's thoughts and influences the news a lot, but Twitter isn't really indicative of what's really happening all the time, right? So yeah, they see the outrage. Yeah, they see people getting pissed off, but at the end of the day, as long as those profit margins are high, as long as the bottom line is going up and whatever, that's their goal. But yeah, Jim Ryan, not a big fan of him in terms of what the stuff that he's been doing. I never see Sony on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, etc. interacting with anyone. They just show trailers and that's it. And they also tweet out that Knights of the Republic is a PlayStation 5 is a PlayStation 5 exclusive. And then they had to lead through. That was pretty funny. I think it was just literally somebody who made a mistake. Probably just some sort of social media manager who doesn't play games, didn't really look into it, or just made a mistake. Sony believes in bad customer service. They don't think they have to care. You know what, Gamer for Life? That's an interesting point, because what got me into Xbox originally was that the PS2, I had a PS2, the disc drive broke, and this was a known issue. The laser within the PlayStation 2 disc drive would stop reading discs. It was a known issue with the PS2. This wasn't something I did. This was just like faulty PS2, and they wouldn't fix it for me, and they wouldn't replace it, even though I was still under warranty. And I forget why. I was much younger back then. Probably my dad who called them or whatever. But they just like disregarded what we were saying and saying that we did it. We broke the disc drive or whatever, which led us to getting an Xbox. And yeah, ever since that, I mean, I've loved Xbox. I've played Xbox every single generation. And I don't know, maybe if that disc drive, that laser or whatever that read the disc didn't break, maybe I would have never played Xbox. But luckily, when bad things happen, sometimes they're blessings in disguise. And that's when the laser breaking was one of those. I'm done with Bungie. Quit playing Destiny 2 ages ago. It's time to sync loot game with crap loot. I've played Destiny, but I have never really gotten into it that much. I hate the way you say A-box, Canadians. Well, that's just the way I speak. I can't really change it. It's just the way I speak, eh? Back, I can play downloaded games right now. I guess the servers got fixed. Yeah, that's good. This channel is lame. Thank you, Get Good. Thank you for calling out how lame my channel is. Appreciate the support. Sony fanboy thought Bungie was a done deal with the day of the announcement. I've been trying to tell them it will get reviewed by the FTC. Yeah, it's going to get reviewed, but I don't think it's going to stop it. Those insiders and the people that they got their information from both will be headed to prison doing... here's the thing, Treybone. That's why I don't think insiders actually have any information about acquisitions. I don't think they have any. I think it's all made up. I'm not that's truly what I think. When it comes to acquisition, I think it's made up. When it comes to okay, let me rephrase that, because that sounds bad. I think they get inside information about acquisitions, but the people giving them this information make it up, and then they run with it. Now, when it comes to Square Enix, let's say Monday comes along and Square Enix announces Sony buys Square Enix. Okay. People are going to say Greg Miller got all this inside information about it, which he could have. Given the benefit of the doubt, he definitely could have. And maybe he did get information about it. But predicting right now that Square Enix is going to get purchased and that Sony is going to purchase Square Enix is like when you gamble and you bet on the something with the best odds, in my opinion, right? That's what all that is. Like, if I come out here and say Sony's acquiring Square Enix and it doesn't happen, no one's going to care that it didn't happen. But if it does happen, there's the percentage that's going to happen, I think, is pretty high compared to let's say Xbox acquiring Square Enix, or let's say Brace Group just got the Western, but let's say the Bracer Group getting also the other studios, or let's say I don't know, maybe Tencent could acquire them. I just think Sony acquiring Square Enix right now, based off of their relationships, makes sense. So I think it's just it's a good bet to make that prediction. So when it happens, right?